What's up, people? Welcome back to the BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. This is episode number 37. And in this episode, we're going to talk to my sister from across the pond, Miss Monique Jackson. She is an advocate for treatment and research on long COVID. She has also been affected by this. So we're going to discuss this a little bit. She was on last year in the middle of all this craziness, and we said we'd always come back at some point and talk more, but not necessarily about COVID, more about the fights, because she is a fight fan, as am I, and she is also a practitioner, as am I. So we had a lot of fights over the last couple of weeks, specifically the UFC 261, so we'll get into that. But before that, if you like the show, please hit the subscribe button, keep the like, tell a friend, drop me a comment, hit me up at Lucky's Muay Thai on Instagram, or hit us up at www.luckysmt.com if you want to check out the gym. I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Yo, it's fight week for us. Keanu's representing Lucky's Muay Thai at the WMO. So make sure you get tickets if you're in Miami. I made sure I got this edited and out so we can promote that. Looking forward to seeing you there. We don't get a ton of Miami Muay Thai shows, so I'm super stoked about this. And so be there if you can. Let's get into this conversation about fights, COVID, and so forth with Miss Monique Jackson. Enjoy. Yo, we'd like to welcome back to the show. I know I get all crazy loud, right? Monique Jackson, my sister from across the pond. We are going to talk about a little bit of long COVID. We're going to talk a lot about fights. She was on last year, and we talked about COVID, and it was very eye-opening. And I think what's crazy about it is when we spoke about it before, we were talking about long COVID. And it hadn't been that long yet, I guess. And so I think a lot of people were like, what the hell's a long COVID, right? COVID only been here for a while. What's long? And now, you know, there are basketball players having to use inhalers. There's like, you know, professional athletes coughing up blood. And like, you know, now we know what long COVID is, right? Everybody's a little more. I'm so glad I got to speak to you early about it. I hope we help some people out. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It's awesome to be able to speak to you today.
Yay. So tell me real quick, how have you been, right? About since the last time we spoke. I mean, we talked a little bit off camera about, you know, you have the vaccine, like first part of the vaccine, because you're in the UK, they stretch it out. But health-wise, how have you been feeling over the last, I don't even know when we talked last, but how have you been feeling?
Wow. Today, I'm feeling much better than we last spoke. I've had symptoms calm down a bit. Like I've had over 30 plus symptoms, like 30, since March last year. And now it tends to be, I've got like the right side of my face feels different, like here. It feels heavier. And got shortness of breath today a little bit, not as bad as it has been, but it's come back. Fatigue, like I'm a hyperactive person, but I'm just lying like on my bed at the moment, like, but it's okay. Yeah, a little bit of palpitations, but I mean, for people who are suffering with long COVID, I think they'll know when I say it's pretty manageable in comparison to the first 8 months. Like this is like a walk in the park. So,
right.
Yeah, the vaccine I think made a difference to me.
Yeah, I've heard some things like that as well from other people. I'm glad that it's happening. I wish it was happening a little bit more, I don't know, organized. Every country has its states or provinces and this and that, and everybody's getting vaccinated differently, and it's a little bit strange. And also, we spoke about this a little bit as well. Nobody should be walking around claiming they know.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I say the same thing all the time. You should be good if you got vaccinated, but I don't know. Like, I'm hoping in my mind I should be good. I got vaccinated, but you know, there's some questions there, you know, that we just don't have. Everything's moving fast. How do we know?
Glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because you're right. Like, we don't know. And what I feel is different. I've heard different people who through my like Instagram page, the Still Corona Diary, people write to me and they say, I don't feel so great after. Like with me, I had it, I felt bad, and then I felt better slowly. So there's not clinical research yet. So, I can't, I can only talk for myself. It's
Right.
different for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to know that you're doing somewhat better. I'm sorry about, like all of this nonsense that people have to go through when they're trying to express there's something else wrong or there's something else going on. And, what's crazy is that the doctors wouldn't listen, right? Like some of the doctors and the medical professionals were like, no, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You can't be feeling that. That's not what COVID is. And now they're like every day, well, COVID's also this, and COVID can be this, and this can happen because of COVID. So yeah, man, there's a lot going on, and I'm glad that you're out there still, advocating, and you've, to me, really opened a lot of people's eyes, and I am so grateful I got to speak to you early, and I'm glad I have you on now. So let's talk about some fights.
Oh.
All right, so I mean, should we? I mean, you just run through the main card, or
what a card?
What we can talk about UFC 261. We can talk about one championship. We can talk about what you tell me. You tell me.
Well, yes, I'll come clean and say, well, with ONE FC, I haven't done my homework. Okay, so I'll be listening to you on that one, but I am familiar with a few fighters in ONE FC and stuff. So, but UFC is the card that unbelievable, really, what happened on the weekend.
Yeah,
I saw most
crazy.
of that.
It was kind of crazy. Anthony Smith's win, another low leg kick that, I mean, that kick does what it does. But if we can I just want to equate that kick to Chris Weidman's kick. And these are a juxtaposition, right? So this is one instance when the kick works, and another instance where the kick does not work. So people can believe low calf kicks are the next big thing, but honestly, somebody that can check kicks properly or even turn the knee out can cause so much damage that even if they don't break the leg, the person would not want to throw the kick again. So, you're throwing these low calf kicks, I guess, do it at your own risk.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I'm interested because of seeing Conor McGregor got taken with a calf kick from Dustin Poirier, right? Like, and there've been some other instances where calf kicks are sort of like all the rage
Yes.
in MMA for obvious reasons. It like shuts down the leg. Like,
yeah, it happened to Michael Chandler and Bellator. Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, but as a coach, what do you think? Like, do you think it was freak? Do you think that there, like, with the technique, there could have been some adaptations to prevented what happened with Weidman?
Well, there's always technical issue, things that you can do. Maybe setting up that kick with some punches to get them sort of. I mean, if you saw when Anderson broke his leg, he was throwing inside leg kicks. He was throwing them. I don't want to say he was panicked, but he was throwing them super fast and hard because he was, Chris Weidman was coming closer and closer. So he was trying to keep him off by blasting him with these super fast leg kicks, super hard. And same thing, knee checked and the leg breaks. And it also can just happen. I mean, Tyrone Spong was a week after Anderson Silva. Tyrone Spong broke his in Glory, I think it was. Same thing. It can happen. It can happen. I would just say, be careful about where you're throwing these kicks, how you're throwing them, and why you're throwing them. Just stepping out and, the windup for that kick was like he was trying to kick a soccer ball.
Exactly.
Across the entire field. Like, it was like, why are you doing that? The fight just started. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's interesting. I've seen people on Instagram say about taking a step, like, to the right, for example. I mean, I don't know. I can't really comment on it. I saw the X-ray today on
I saw it too.
Oh my goodness, the description was actually as disturbing as seeing the two bones like fold on each other and then the pin. just saying how it like pierced through the skin, and there was
Yeah,
concern about infection. And it seems
absolutely.
like the surgeons done a great job, and it shows the risk of combat sport as to, like, you know, just at that stage in the career, like for a fighter, that's devastating, really. And there was something else I was going to say about it, but it's complete. Oh, the curse. I hope that it's not a curse now, because what's stranger than fiction is obviously how it's gone from Silver to Weidman and now Uriah. Like, well, I'm sure it'll be fine, but
Yeah,
you
I'm
just
sure it'll
couldn't
be
make that
fine.
up.
Excellent, great. I was thinking, I told people it's funny because I've trained people for so long and been involved for so long and been watching MMA for so long. I realize all the time I'm going through these waves of people, and all the new people, none of them remember any of they don't, for me, when I started and I was getting into it heavy, I didn't just watch like the fighters or that were around. I tried to go back and find old, DVDs or whatever, so that I can know some historical things can have some value. They don't go back and look very much. I name fighters, they're like, oh, who that is. So when this happened, I was like, I'm sure Chris Weidman's a great guy now. I'm sure he didn't, it wasn't a thing back then. But when Anderson broke his leg, that dude ran around the cage with his arms up, screaming like he fucking won, $10 million. I don't know. And to see him have to go through that 8 years later, I was like, damn, man, that's pretty. I don't want to say it's karma. I'm sure he's, like I said, a great guy. But man, I remember my student from that time when that happened to Anderson hit me up after I had just told my new students about that moment, and he said, "Remember when that happened and we were talking about it and talking about Chris Weidman was like, yeah, I practiced how to check like that, and when I'm training and crazy. I hope it's not a
You
curse.
couldn't make it up. You could not make it up. And it
Nuts.
shows how amazing Anderson is to psychologically get back in the octagon after something like that happens.
For real.
I mean, I didn't even know how someone could kick a bag after that would happen, really.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That's rough. I hope he gets
Anyway.
better soon, man, and is able to come back and at least, have some kind of career after this. It's always crazy when freak injuries happen, Who else? What else happened? Rose.
Well, I mean, Thug Rose.
Yeah. Walk in, step in, lead leg, high kick, offer some great footwork. She was just.
I underestimated her, I think I'm not alone. I think a few other people did as well, but I don't know why I underestimated her. I think I was just really impressed with the Jacek fight.
Yeah.
Joanna and Zhang.
Yeah.
Zhang?
Yeah, but I mean, Rose is so much longer and taller, and her skills are so good.
Well, clearly, yeah. I mean, someone sent me on WhatsApp a GIF or a GIF file, and it had Sanshai teaching Zhang like the sort of hip
Yes.
feints,
Yes.
and then they put the next video of her doing that, and which is obviously like a feint to get out of the way for a lower leg kick, but not the head kick.
Right.
Saying, was that what happened? I thought, oh, that's pretty neat that someone's put that video together in like 24 hours and spotted that. But I mean, with those little gloves though as well, I don't know, mind you, her guard was quite big, wasn't it? She kind of through and in.
Yeah, it was a lot of things. I just saw a picture, I think, of Rose looking down. There's a lot of setup there that was masterful. Yeah. She sidestepped, backstep, sidestep, stepped in, and head kicked.
True.
And during that entire footwork, Zhang just kind of stood there. She didn't do anything to disrupt the footwork that Rose was doing. And she just basically, I tell people this all the time, you can get hypnotized.
I was going to say hypnotized, like Biggie Smalls. Hypnotized.
Yeah, you get hypnotized.
Like just like, oh.
Yeah, I tell my students all the time, they're like, I do things to you because I'm hypnotizing you. Like, I get you to stand in front of me so I can hit you, and you have no idea what's going on, but you got to start learning how to do that. But yes, it was beautiful work.
And when she went down, it was like, boom, and didn't have similar, like, didn't know kind of what happened. There was that sort of, like, because she was like contested afterwards, like, sort of what's happened, and I felt for her because it was over so quick. Assassin.
Yeah, man. I hope she gets a shot again.
Really, but it just happened so quick.
I hope she gets a shot again, but I don't know if it should be right away. I know how good she was, or she is, but I don't know. Jose Aldo didn't get a shot at Conor right after.
True. I mean, it's a professional sport, isn't it? It's not the Olympics, so.
Yeah. I heard there were some issues though with all the Chinese fighters. Some of them not being able to bring their coaches over. I heard there was a lot of issues with like the travel and like some of the other like Chinese fighters or different coaches had to step in and help them. So I think there was this is not an excuse, obviously. I'm just saying, like, it's a huge disadvantage to not have your coaches with you and not have your, have to go through all of that situation and then have to face somebody of that caliber. It's kind of tough, man.
With like what was having the audience? It was Florida, right?
Jacksonville.
Your state, yeah. So it was like something was in the water. People were just turbocharged with that crowd cheering them on, and the whole card came alive. I mean, going back to Anthony Smith, I was really pleased to see him sort of back on form and getting that. Like,
I'm glad he got the W as well. He's a guy that I thought for sure. I mean, I think he can still get a title. I think he's, he could do it, man. He could do it, but he's got to do some work. I think maybe he's doing it. I don't know. But that low calf kick, what caught my attention was that he threw that kick, and then he still got taken down. Yeah, and then he got held down by a dude with one leg.
Terminator 2. That was like Terminator 2.
I'm like, yo, man, I don't know how I don't know. I feel like not that you're supposed to be able to finish anybody or anything like that, but I just don't know how you're not able to fight that off from the guy with one leg. I don't know. I know it's all in the moment.
That guy, what was it's an Australian fighter, right?
Yeah.
Jute or something.
Something like that. I don't really know him that well, but
he was awesome. How he just kept going, and and he was willing to start the next round.
Yeah, he said what he said. He was just gonna. He was like, "I'm just gonna pull guard." I was just if they were gonna let me fight.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
He was just gonna go on his back in a jiu-jitsu position, try to pull him into guard. Yeah, try to pull him down. Maybe try to. I don't know, but
ankle pick him or whatever, like Tony Ferguson says.
Ankle pick you.
Ankle pick you.
That's so funny.
That was really entertaining to watch, and just that's what I like about fighting is I'm so much of a perfectionist. When things start to go a bit hairy when I go training, sometimes you just easy to just go, they've won. But when you see someone who's like, okay, this is ugly, but this is a fight and I can still win, it's just really inspiring to see the character and determination of these young fighters just push through. It's astounding. Like,
perseverance.
You never know. Yeah. I don't know where they teach that, if you can be taught that even.
I think listen, there's a little bit of everything, right? Some people are born with stuff. Some people, work really hard because they weren't born with anything. As far as being taught perseverance, I think in heart, I don't know. They always say you can't teach heart. You can teach people that they can push further than they think they can. I don't know if that's teaching heart, but you can definitely teach people, listen, man, whatever you think your limits are, you're wrong. And maybe that's what heart is. It's knowing like, this isn't my limit. I can go further than this. So potentially you could teach it.
I like that. That's really cool.
I just made that up. I just made that up. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if
you can
really
trademark it.
I'm locking it down right now.
Jimmy Crute.
Jimmy Crute
is his name.
No, his leg was jacked.
Yeah, and the nerve. They say like Joe Rogan and stuff said it was nerve.
Yeah, for sure.
Trauma or something.
Yeah, you get that nerve.
But Randy Brown. Yeah, did you see Randy Brown and Alex Oliveira?
I only saw the clip of it, but I want to see it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
It's a one arm.
Yeah,
did it. Okay.
It's possible.
And
I mean, it's obviously
cool,
possible.
I feel like he done it. Yeah. He it was quite a good fight, that one. Lots of but okay. And then Valentina.
Listen, I don't know how this was going to go any other way. She just can do it all. She can do it all. And it was funny because there was that one moment where she got pressed against the cage, and I was like, well, here goes. If you can pick her up and dump her on her head, this will be the moment. But
okay.
Andrade,
and because she was like trying to find, like she was trying to do that, and you could see she was doing that, and Valentina
she was trying to get like a high
solid
cross.
As a rock.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, this is your one moment that if you're gonna pick her up, slam her, or try to take her down, this is it. And Valentina was having none of it.
Yeah, because she did that to Rose, right? That's where she managed.
That's kind of her. She's a powerful. She's powerful. She can hit you hard, get close to you, and beat you, throw you down, beat you up. But Valentina's too good, man. She's just too damn good. And we all know the fight to make is another rematch with Nunes. But I don't know when you make it, how you make it. The judges are weird because she potentially won both of those fights that she fought Nunes in. I don't even know if you want to deal with the judges again after that. I don't know. But it's kind of the only fight to be made, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they're so elite. Both of those fighters. Valentina ending with the crucifix for this one and those elbows. Absolute carving up poor Jessica's face.
You can't. There's not once they get that crucifix and they start punching, it's only a matter of time before they go, okay, all right, I'm gonna start using elbows now, and then it's for sure over.
Yeah, done deal.
I don't know. There's nothing much to say about it. She body locked her, threw her around, ragdolled her, beat her up. I mean, crucifixed her, elbowed her, over. She didn't. Did she do anything? Did Andrade do anything?
I'm sure she did. It was just Valentina just looked so dominant, and with the wrestling and the amount of takedowns she did, I just was hypnotized, I suppose, with what she was up to, and it seemed like she was always in control. So, I
don't know what's next. I got nothing. Those two women's divisions, they need to bring in fighters. They really do. I don't know why they feel like they can say that there aren't any when there's regional shows all over the world where there's fighters trying to make come-ups. That they like to, I don't want to say media or maybe the UFC, but they like to say that there aren't enough skilled female fighters at a high level, so forth and so on. Meanwhile, there's shows all over with female fighters all over the place. So I think
you're right. And I think because I've had conversations with, I don't know if I want to say friends, but at the time they were my friend, saying about, just close down the women's section of UFC. This was a couple of years ago, just saying get rid of it. It's nowhere near as good as men's. But I think that what has been shown is how the sport evolves so quickly. Like the standards just keep growing higher and higher in quite a short period of time. So I think it's just like plants where you just have to keep watering them. And
I agree. And if you're not, the problem is if you're not watering them, right? If you're not watering the plants, you're not gonna have the talent in the UFC. Specifically, if you're not going out to get them, like you're not trying to make that happen. And I think that's part of the problem. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's easier to say I have these, undefeated or at least undisputed champions that are on these long title reigns and make money off of saying like, oh, this woman is the next, can beat her, knowing that they're not going to beat her, right? They're not going to beat Nunez. They're not going to beat Shevchenko because you know who they are, and you're not willing to go out and bring in enough talent for the pool to be bigger, for there to be more fighters, and potentially it to get better. But whatever, I can go on and on all day about that. Kamaru Usman. I mean, I don't know what there's to say. Masvidal did a lot of chatting prior to the fight, after the last fight, and I didn't think that he had anything really to present to Usman as a problem. I feel like also he's not in that part of his career where he's like, I gotta get this title. I'm going for it. Like he's not there. He's at the point of his career where he's like, oh shit, I made a lot of money talking some shit. I had a couple of good crazy knockouts. Like I'm kind of 3-piece in a soda or whatever. I'm kind of living off of those things. I'm making some cash from that. To win the title is almost a burden if you're already in that position. It would be fantastic to have as the cherry on top. But, Dustin said, I'd rather fight Conor. Because
oh, really?
Why do I want to go after that belt, be super obligated to do everything that goes along with it, and then have to defend it against all these monsters when I'm like 36, 37, I'm at the end of my career, like, Dustin's like, yo, man. Go ahead.
So you're saying, like, in the way that Dustin's, like, taking his eye away from the lightweight belt, that maybe that will be the case for Jorge with the welterweight in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying...
Usman is that good. I mean, he, again, I kind of bet that if I was going to bet, I would have bet the house on Usman, but
yes,
I still got very excited at the idea of seeing Jorge, like, with a longer training camp and being given a chance to go again. And I thought in the first round it looked quite promising because, but I think that's because I was just willing it to be different.
Yeah.
When you're watching it and you're like
so stoked about it, you're like, yes.
Yeah, well, you got him there, and even though he got taken down because there was a knee, and then he got taken down, you're like, but he's got his feet on the hips, and and he was raining the elbows down, and he managed to get to the fence and stand up. So you're like, he managed to get up, and he's.
Look at you clapping like that.
I'm a big fan. I mean, who isn't? He's just so explosive. He's so exciting. He mixes it up. I think that he's been really good. I mean, people say that Usman, with the current gym he's in with Rose and
Trevor Whitman's a freaking mastermind.
That's like really taken Usman up to the next level with his striking. But there was a few moments where I think Usman was sort of
he was wild, a
little bit wild. And I, with my armchair casual MMA watching, was like, oh, look, his striking's all over the place.
That's
or Masvidal has a chance to do like a check hook or whatever. And then, I mean, I watched today, like, Jorge Masvidal talk about the knockout, and he was very gracious and said, it was a beautiful piece of work, and that's why I love the sport. And I was like, that's amazing.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, listen, he was very gracious. I'll give it to him. But again, I feel like, man, he went out there. I just don't know. All right, honest opinion. First of all, I think Jorge Masvidal is more than a staple of the sport. 50 fights since whenever,
OG.
Right? Forever. He's been doing this forever. But that's the point. I think at what point, like, does it make sense to go after the belt? I don't know, man. Then you got to fight all the up and comers, and like, man, right now, if you haven't made
I want to see him with Colby.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you not want to?
I just think that those guys to fight, just to fight, sure.
Yeah.
But Colby is, I'm not a Colby fan at all. And I think that he's like on fire for the title too. Like, I think that there are guys, there's a certain point in your career where you're like, title's great, but I need to make some money before I'm out. And also, I wanted that title so bad for like this 5-year period in my career where I was like hunting for it and I was fighting guys that were all in that mix. And now I'm at the end of it. How much money did I save? How much investment did I make?
Yeah.
How much people making now? What do I need to do to get some of that before I'm out? And I think that's way more. The belt is only going to bring you that maybe for a fight if you don't, unless you're trying to, do an Usman where you're like have it for multiple fights. But with that comes so many interviews, so many like things that you have to do. Is it worth it? Maybe. But I don't know, man. At 36, 37 in the fight game after 50 fights, where do I get checks from? I want some checks.
No, I think you're very mature. Like, you're way more mature than me. I'm just sort of approaching it like they're two Pokemon, and I'm fascinated to see what will happen when they like go at each other. Because Colby's, because they're both kind of they've got a sort of history. I do get a bit stressed, weirdly, about the sort of chat when they get, I know that they do it to sell fights and it's really important to sell fights, but I do get quite stressed out when they're like, there's that background resentment of one another, and I think, oh no, I just don't like it when people hurt each other's feelings. Just their faces, I don't mind, but like,
that's the idea. Feelings. That's the idea.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's very silly, but
no, it's not silly.
With the work.
You're exactly right. That is exactly why they do and say the things that they do and say even when there's no resentment, because they need this, and I need it. I got excited too because you got excited.
Yeah. Well, because Colby, I think that he got knocked out by Usman, and he wants to get back to get the belt, but I just think it would be interesting to see I'd be really interested to see what would happen if they both fought each other.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm down for it. I would like to see it too. I think Colby's the kind of guy that could be susceptible to some of that Masvidal, trickery and explosiveness, and I think he's the kind of guy that could get caught with something that Masvidal might throw.
And equally, he has the what's it called? I'm just purely talking about him as a fighter now. I don't really want to get into like his personality and everything, but like purely as a fighter, he's got the gas tank,
right?
Like, and he's like obviously like wrestler, like, very strong. They're both strong. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm really out of my depth. In case you couldn't tell.
I like it. No, but listen. You in a fight, you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Ultra elite fighters like Usman are hard to beat. So for Masvidal,
so
let's say he had I thought he was a lot overweight before the camp started. In the interviews I saw, his face was super puffy. I don't know how much of that camp he spent, trying to get weight off. I don't know how much of that camp he spent really, really busting hard on trying to get ready for the monster that is Usman. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he looked like he was like really ready to fight that guy.
But then again, it could just be that Usman, people were saying, pound for pound, active fighter, that he is 100%. The best there is.
And that's my point. If you're going to fight that guy, you have to bring yourself to that level, I guess. And I don't know that,
Do you think you could do you think you could prepare your chin? Could anyone prepare their chin for that power, though?
Fuck no. But you can prepare your foot.
People say it's like Nagano, like, oh, I see. Defensively, you could prepare for it more.
Right. You can prepare your footwork. You can prepare your mind so you're not listen, I know that Masvidal is a fan favorite. I know he likes to put his arms down and smile and do all of that stuff. But this is your title shot. Like, this is the chance on a full camp to win that belt. You have to train and be ready to 100%. Yo, listen, it doesn't matter what you do if you're like smiling and laughing and hands down or whatever. But that guy on the other side, Usman, was not in that place.
Yeah, he was like,
yeah.
And his back, his muscles, like on his back, it's like Ninja Turtle muscles and muscles
hilarious.
and muscles. It's crazy. Like, so you know when the blades open and then there's like more muscle that like comes out.
Yeah.
Is that deltoids or traps? I don't know. There's a whole load of stuff happening.
Yeah, I don't know if he was ready for that. Usman's I don't want to call him a monster. He's not. He's a high level professional athlete.
And he's a human who deserves respect and is good at fighting, and respect to him, but also respect to his
neck to his back with his his delt lat things, whatever. Yo, there's some other shit besides. But just real quick, I did enjoy the fights, and I love that you're a fan of the fights, and I love that you know what I love? I love that you're like, I'm speaking, I'm out of my depth, I'm speaking, because I talk to a lot of guys, even at the gym, a lot of different people, and they're like, it's like that whole thing, they know. Well, don't you think this is this and this? I'm like, yeah, oh no. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm there. Okay. I'm there. Okay.
They're like, they don't know what they're looking at, but they're not willing to say they don't know.
Oh, that's me off camera. That's me. Like, but I'm trying to make out like I'm very sort of
astute.
Yeah.
That's all good, man. It's all good.
When I'm watching it, I am so obnoxious, and I'm, like, this person's gonna win, and everything, and then yeah.
Oh yeah. So. You gotta give me some of those messages during the fight so I can send some LOLs back.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
It's been great talking fights and talking long COVID. There's something else I want to talk to you about, and we can save it for another time. Like how I do that? Sweet. Like how I do that? We have an epidemic in both of our countries and basically around the world. Over policing of Black and brown and poor people. And I don't know, this is like, obviously I didn't mean to drop so heavy down after like laughing about fighting.
Do it. Let's get it out.
Let's go. But like,
pandemic, UFC, police harassment. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's something that, I see you've posted some things about things that are happening there. And I think that maybe we can make a US-UK connection some kind of way. I don't know. But we can talk about those things on a show down the road. Clearly, there's a lot of that stuff going on, and I'm a little emotional about it at times. So there are moments that I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Of course, I think just to explain as well that I've just been involved in a public mural, which is about it's a commission for 40 years ago. There's the Brixton Uprising. Which was in 1981. I think that's 40 years. Yeah. There was riots that happened, and there's been a lot of programs to kind of document what happened at the moment. And Steve McQueen, I think, did a TV series called Small Axe, and he obviously directed 12 Years. So. Yeah. And so on one of the roads in Brixton, me and quite a few artists actually, Jacob Joyce and a few other people, we're like we're painting a mural there. So that's to explain the project.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look, we definitely need to get into some of this. I want to. Yeah, We'll figure it out. Maybe in like a month, we'll figure it out, because I'd like to educate myself a little bit more about what's going on over there, what's happened over there, and just be able to talk, about it with some like I know what I'm, some education.
Yeah, exactly.
But just real quick over on this side, we've just had a lot of instances of like police violence towards poor and Black and brown people. Obviously, this is a worldwide thing, but it's getting a little out of hand, and not a little, it's out of hand. And I don't know the solutions for it, but I definitely want to connect on it and chit chat about what's happening there, what's happening here, and just keeping that dialogue going. So be ready for an invite in about a month to
Thanks. And I think it's brave of you to like try and open up a conversation. These things can be so painful that people just want to avoid it and sort of, or only talk to, people who have similar opinions to us and stuff. And I'm really about visibility is important, conversation's important, and being open, I think, being reflective. So
right, open, honest, being educated on it, and being reflective. It makes more sense to have good perspective on it and have a conversation than just spouting emotional jargon just because, right?
That's right.
It doesn't help. It does help in some instances to scream aloud, but to get things done, honest, empathetic, educated dialogue is the way to go. On that note, I will definitely have you back on. Thank you for talking long COVID. Oh, please tell everybody where they can find you and what they should be looking for as far as like long COVID stuff is concerned.
Sure. My website is www.stillillcoronadiary.com, and the Instagram handle is _coronadiary.
I will put all of that down there somewhere so everybody has it. I love talking to you, Monique Jackson.
Thanks for talking to me.
I should put like a crowd of applause right there. Maybe I'll do that for next time.
Yay! It's been fun.
I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
I'm a simple man, don't want a complication.